This actually, this fundamentally changes what you do and where you do it, which is, let's face it, most of what marketing is about. It's funny how complexity science sort of annoys certain people, doesn't it? Because they're people who have this neat linear model in their heads of how things work. What the advertising model of how the world works is that people sit in a stupor, basically, mentally completely inert until they're exposed to an advertisement, when suddenly they spring to action.
Yeah.
Whereas, of course, they're alive all the time and they're drawing inferences from everywhere. Yeah. And one of the biggest sources of inference isn't media in any shape or form.
Yeah.
It's everybody else.
The majority of conversations, like at least 2/3, happen face to face.
Real life is surprisingly local, isn't it?
Exactly. Which makes any herd mentality, any copying behavior local.
If 2 of your friends buy an electric car or 2 of your friends get solar panels, okay?
That's
at
something
some point, there's that point at which you go, okay, I can now infer from this that this is a thing.
Yeah, and that's something that's really important in understanding the herd behavior and goes into the foundations of like the patterns we're detecting.
An awful lot of business decision making is focused on the average.
Yes.
And the argument I'd make in a fat-tailed world is the outlier drives success in the long term much more than the average does. There are a lot of people who have a model of the world which is mathematically sensible and seemingly logical, but they're using the wrong kind of maths. So human height would be a case where, there's nobody so tall that if they walk into a stadium, they affect the average height of everybody there. Human wealth, on the other hand,
Bill Gates.
Bill Gates walks in, everybody's a millionaire.
Yeah.
And so not understanding the difference between those two kinds of distribution, I think, leads people to go, don't worry, the average is fine. Because the average is representative and it captures all that's important. And we can safely ignore the exceptions. And I'd argue what you're doing is saying, no, it's the exceptions that actually matter.
And this is why CFO maths fails, because they would measure 10 new customers as a good thing. I would argue that 5 new customers clustered
is worth more than 10 new customers dispersed.
Because those 5 new customers will grow like that. 10 won't.
Absolutely fascinating. No, that is absolutely brilliant.
This is a map of where herd mentality is happening, where word of mouth is spread.
So it's relative to population density.
Yeah.
It's where you have a disproportionate number of sales for the local population. Is that right?
We're detecting where sales look like they've been driven by word of mouth.
And the dark purple is where it's really extreme.
That's where it's really extreme. And this bit here, order value and frequency are much higher, right?
Yes.
What we find is when they then target their advertising at the word of mouth, they maintain that performance, even though they might be outside what they consider their core demographic.
This actually, this fundamentally changes what you do and where you do it, which is, let's face it, most of what marketing is about. The other thing that you can use this for, which I think is a multiplier, is localize the creative, not just the targeting.
Yes.
I always joke that, everyone wants to be on Oxford Street, but actually 3 streets over that nobody's ever heard of. If that's a hotspot for you,
absolutely,
your media is 1/10 of the cost, then you could put 90% into your creative. You get some really strong,
really bold and localized creative.
Precisely.
Your point about saying, I'd rather sell to 5 people who are geographically or in some way connected than sell to 10 people at random.
Yeah.
Is absolutely fascinating.